Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekly analysis video. Hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I'm still recovering from my little food coma, but we're here and it's the end of the month and it's a big month that we had here, guys, a big bullish month. You can see the candle closed on the highs here. This green dashed line is the monthly trend line, and we have now broken monthly trend line resistance to the upside. So long-term outlook, guys, this is really bullish for the market. This was a big week. This is looking very good for the next few months for the market. And I'm going to go down and show you what I think about shorter time frame, but I just want you guys to see this. And let's just look at the sectors really quick. Monthly charts, right? XLF, anything wrong here? Absolutely not, right? It closed at a new high for the month. Its last close was down here, so new high here for the monthly close in the XLF. Nothing's wrong here, right? This is, to me, looking to push higher, right? Looking to push these highs. Until something tells us otherwise, that's what should happen. This old closing high should be support. If that's not, this should be the ultimate support here. And we should keep pushing higher. SMH Semiconductors, this was kind of ahead of the game, but still bullish, right? It's on a bullish breakout, right? Monthly chart looks good. It's going to keep pushing until it gives us a sign, okay? IWM small caps, this is the big one. This thing has been in range for forever, as we all know, for a whole year about. And so it's finally broken out. It's closed a month above this range, above these pivot highs. And as we know, breakdown candle highs, they tend to be the next level of strong resistance. So look for this to test that 170 area, or maybe even the highs within the next couple to a few months here, okay? And then lastly, let's look at the transportation average. This one is a little lagging here, which could be a telling sign. It is lagging, right? It hasn't broken the red zone on a monthly close. So that's interesting. We'll have to watch on smaller time frames on the transportation average and look at little nuances like these zones here where there's gaps, breakup candles, and just watch how the market is reacting to those in real time. Are we trading through them, closing below them? Is this telling us a sign? So that's something that we're going to have to watch, and that I'll be talking about more in future videos once we have some more price action here in the next month. But I don't think we should look too much into this because every other market is on a bullish breakout, and so I think the chances are this will catch up to those markets. It's something we're going to have to keep our eye on. I'm definitely going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching if this wants to come lower, if this is really just a bullish formation looking to go higher. Definitely something to keep an eye on, okay? And then really quickly, let's look at the weekly chart, go down a bit on the SPY. This gray line here is the weekly trend line resistance, right? And so we basically closed on top of it. I don't consider it to be a breakout. It's very close, and it's subjective, right? It's a trend line, right? Price levels are always more important. So here's the deal. I mean, because we didn't really break above it with volume, with force, I would say don't be surprised again if we see some pullback from that trend line. Again, we can keep going sideways and grinding higher as well. The market's in a very strong uptrend, and we can go down to a daily and see, it came up once, it just went sideways, and it keeps grinding up and testing. Can it just keep doing that? Yeah, sure. I mean, we don't know how long it can keep doing that. So again, it's not a place to be necessarily short the market. We don't really have a sign to be short. But just be aware of where we are. Be aware that we didn't bust through that weekly trend line when we easily could have. And we want to watch. Here I have the fib levels from the start of the month to the end of the month, or the high of the month, I should say. And so if we do end up seeing pullback from this weekly trend line, there's a few places that we want to look. Obviously, the most recent pivot would be the first structure that could provide major support. Just below it, we have a breakup candle low, which broke that high, and we have a gap just below that. Just below that, we have these two fibs from the month. So essentially, we have a big breakup candle on the monthly. It's not out of the ordinary to see a retrace of that breakup candle. It doesn't mean it's bearish. It just means it's retracing. It's going to fill some gaps in the structure, and it's going to go higher. So that's my outlook on the market for now. So essentially within, I'd say this zone, we'll go from the breakup candle low here down to the fibs, right? So somewhere in this zone, the market should hold should we decide to pull back towards the start of the month or whenever. We are at this trend line. This is an area right here, 312 to about 309. I would look for the market to have very, very strong resistance. I'd be looking for signs to buy the market at all of these levels. I'm going to be watching, especially hour, 2-hour charts, looking for that intraday reversal that leads to a multi-day or week uptrend, right? Definitely be watching that area, okay? And real quickly, we'll just go around and look at the sectors on their daily charts, right? So the IWM we talked about was just in a big bull flag. We said that it could come down and test this breakup candle low, but it was holding these recent pivots, right? It was holding these, and that was a bullish sign. And the fact that it couldn't even come down and test these this gap, this breakup candle low, it's telling, and look at the volume here, right? It's higher than the volume we had on this entire uptrend, right? So that's very telling. Very high volume. We had a doji candle, which maybe people got short on, and you guys should know definitely not to be short on this because of where it occurred, right? And because of the candle before it, right? It's not uncommon to just see a big breakup candle like this, high volume, breaking out of a bull flag, closing on the highs, and the next day just has a little bit of retrace, right? And it happens to form a doji, right? There's one here too. This is a good one. This one's in an area where you can say, okay, I can get short based on this doji because it happened at these highs, right? Right, it's near some sort of structure, but this one not the case. IWM is looking bullish, and look for this one to definitely continue on, guys. And I just want to remind again, if you haven't watched my other videos, small caps, if people are putting money into these, that's a very, very strong statement about the market conditions, right? These are riskier stocks, riskier investments, and if people are putting their money into risk, that's a positive sign for the market. Now, in no way, shape, or form is the IWM totally out of the water yet, right? It does have resistances. It's got a trend line that would come in about here, which happens to come in, around some other structure here, potentially. But it has room, guys. It's breaking out. We have to take it for what it is, and it's bullish. The market's been bullish. We've been saying it's bullish, and we will keep playing the upside, at least long term right now, until there's a better sign on a weekly chart, even a daily, guys. We don't have anything that tells us these markets are going to reverse. Okay, so keep buying dips, and yeah, we're bullish, guys. See, we looked at the transportation average. Let's look at the XLF. This was one we said last week was looking the strongest, and it does move pretty slow, but you can see this week here, these 4 candles, move it up slightly, right? It's a slow mover, kind of just creeping up. It is still below these highs, right? it's still below the next trend line we have. And so what we have to understand is this thing can go sideways for a while, right? It can build up some more energy potentially to actually push through this. But the fact that it's above this wedge here, holding that for many, many days, this is what, a few weeks, 3 weeks or so. It's just flagging, right? It's just flagging. Let's look at a weekly chart. Right, this isn't a sign of any type of market putting in a signal of a trend change. This is a market that is having some inside weeks. It's building energy to go higher, right? And I suspect we could see potentially another week or two of building more energy. Maybe we don't, but the point is this is going to go higher. Financials are looking good. If financials are looking good, financials are banks. They're the economy, right? If that's looking good, the market is not in any sort of trouble. So keep looking for this to go higher. Okay, guys? And last, let's look at the SMH. The SMH. Now, this is the one that we said had, potentially a reversal candle. I said I didn't really like it as a reversal candle, but some people may be short because of it. And so we can see this week that it did lag a bit. There were some pullbacks in names like AMD and QCOM and the sorts, but it didn't really go anywhere as of now, right? It didn't make any progress yet, and it still can, but we still have to notice, right, that on a daily or weekly chart, we're still just going sideways, right? This is until we really start making progress below where? Below, well, this gap for one, this gap and pivot, that is a solid structure right there at around the 130 level. We tried to come down and test it, and we couldn't even get close, right? We came within 50 cents, and we busted back to the upside, back within this range. So we've now kind of tried to break up, tried to break down, and we're back sideways. So, we kind of have to watch both sides. But again, this gap here, 130, 130.20, give or take a few cents, that should be strong structure there, right? That should be holding for the SMH to remain bullish. We still have the trend intact. So this is just a bull flag, right? It's a bull flag. It's up and then it's sideways, and we've seen this before, right? We've seen it here. It's up, it's sideways, and it's looking to push higher. We've seen it here. Up, sideways, higher, right? It's just stair-stepping its way up, and I believe it will continue to. Now, that's not to say it can't see downside, but I think the dips will continue being bought until we have to see more signs, guys. We have to see more signs of levels being broken. So where does the SMH maybe really get into trouble? I'd say that's honestly, it's down here. If it gets back below this structure, that's where the SMH really gets into trouble, guys. So you have to understand this can pull back. There's many levels here. There's a breakup candle low. There's a gap right here below that. There's this breakout area. This should be very strong. Anywhere in here. I know we've talked about this area. But you start getting below that, then you're testing a long-term trend line here, right? Then you're getting into trouble. So I'm still looking to buy dips if this does want to go lower. I'm also looking to play the breakout of the upside. Right now, not much you can do with this, guys. But be looking for, above 135. And especially if it gets down to 125 here to 122-ish, I'm looking to buy the SMH, okay? I have one weekly breakout for you guys that looks really, really amazing, and that's BABA. I'm sure most of you guys saw this, but this had a nice bull flag forming right here. And if we go down to maybe an hourly, you can see this bull flag forming, and breaks out really nice here, and immediate gap up and go, right? So it shows you, if you're drawing these trend lines right, guys, on the closes of the candles. You can see the candle that broke up here closed on the highs. That's a strong sign of a breakout. And you could have bought BABA for a swing right there, and you are very close to risk. And by the next day's open, you're booking some profit, right? And you're making it risk-free. So this is a bullish breakout. We closed over this pivot high. We've got a gap here, so there can be resistance soon. So I've drawn a zone here. If BABA decides to come back to here, and then a more bullish support would obviously be this pivot high. So look for these two levels on BABA if we do get pullback to be very strong. Look to buy BABA for more upside. I believe this will come and test the highs. It's got a few gaps here. One here. It's got one here. It's got one at the highs. This candle here. Right. So this is looking bullish. It closed the month at the highs. That's very bullish long term for BABA. Close the month over a pivot. So again, watch these levels, and look to buy BABA long. Look to play it long if it wants to keep going. Just watch those gaps for potential pullbacks, okay? So that's my trade idea for the week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and let's kill the month of December, and let's end the year very profitable, okay, guys? Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please share it, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one, all right? Have a good one.